Our story begins in 1903, when brothers George and Ed Brosterhous came to Bend and became successful contractors around town. They built many landmarks, including St. Francis Church.
Thanks to a booming economy, courtesy of the railroad coming to town, it was the building of the Reed School that put Ed on the map and George 6 feet underground.
But Kelly Cannon Miller, executive director of the Deschutes Historical Museum, which is located in the former Reed School, says that George may not have remained underground for long.
In June of that year, George was on the roof. There was not a lot of other workers around, apparently. No one saw this happen, but George fell from the roof into the unfinished stairwell and perished where our stairs are now, and he was found there later on in the day.
Now, Kelly tells me that George is a friendly ghost. In fact, if they lose something, they just call out to George out loud, and eventually he does lead them to the item. But there's only one human that's actually seen George in the not flesh.
There's only been one person that ever said that they saw George, and it was a pianist who was performing somewhere downtown, had been looking for a piano to practice on, and somehow found Reed School and found the walnut piano that we have here. And they were in the room practicing, and there was one person in the building, staff person in the building, who heard the piano playing, came down and sat and was listening. And after the pianist finished, turned around, saw just the one staff person, and said, "Where did the other guy go?" And the staff person was like, "What other guy?" And the pianist said, "Well, there was a man sitting in the back listening to me also." And after they got up and went out in the lobby, there's a photograph of George on the wall out in the lobby, and the pianist pointed at that and said, "That's who was sitting there listening."
Now, we know that George is a friendly ghost, but we also know that George isn't a lonely ghost either.
You see, people often come to the Deschutes Historical Museum to ask for help in researching the history of the property they own.
But inevitably, the real reason for their research gets unearthed, shall we say.
Oftentimes, after we get a little ways into the research, people will confess to us that they're actually here trying to figure out who the ghost in their house is, which always amused us. And then after time, we thought, you know what, we really should be capturing these stories, and that led to our annual Haunt Walk.
That's right. Today and tomorrow, the museum will be leading those with a penchant for the supernatural on a spine-tingling tour around town to share their favorite ghost stories that they've dug up over the years.
And as for Kelly, does she really believe in spirits from the great beyond?
I don't know. You know, there was one night that I was here, like I said, really late, and thought I heard my name. I thought I heard someone say Kelly, and I thought, okay, Then I listened a little bit and heard the wind in the elevator shaft. It was a pretty windy night, and I thought, I'm gonna go with it was the wind, but I think it's time to go home now.
For Central Oregon Daily News, I'm meteorologist Scott Elmas.